Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dilmer again and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about finishing an indie game, and I'm going to give you 3 things that I always follow to make sure that I finish my games. And the reason why this is so important is because at some point in my career I had taken games that were too big and they were really complicated, and I wasn't realistic with myself. So I want you to avoid that. I want you to actually get your work done and complete it, because that's what's gonna make you, that's what's gonna give you the motivation that you need to keep going and creating more games. So number one, and the one that is very, very important, is make sure that you keep your games as simple as you can. I think the worst thing that can happen is you start creating games just because you play another game and that game was very, very complex, and then you think you can do it in a timely manner. Let's be honest, make sure that you start with simple games. Don't overcomplicate a game just because you want to be, or you want to do what somebody else already done. There's a lot of times when we don't look at what that other person is doing behind the scenes to make sure that they release those games. So start simple, start small. Make sure that you release something first, or you release a couple of games before you take it into much of a bigger and complicated game. And then the number two, which actually follows on number one, I would say, be realistic with anything that you do in life. Be realistic with, making indie games. Like, I will give you an example right now. Like, I've been creating a lot of minimalistic games, and you've seen a lot of those games before. And the new game that I'm working on, it's a little more complicated. I'm gonna be having AI. I'm gonna have to do a lot of rigging. I'm gonna have to do animations. There's a lot of things in there that I haven't done in the past. So I've been studying, I've been reading, I've been spending a lot of time on the logistics of this new game, and what am I gonna need, who am I gonna need to hire, or if I'm gonna be able to do it all myself. So, but I didn't start with a game like this before. Like, I started creating smaller games, and I talk a lot about these kind of things in other videos, but small games have allowed me to fund bigger games, and that's basically my strategy. I start with simple games because I want to be able to generate revenue, and that revenue I can use towards my new game. And not only the revenue, I mean, it's the experience. There's a lot of things that I had to do in order to release the smaller games that now I know about. Now I have visibility about it. I know how the market works. I know how players, what players like my games. I know a lot more than I did before. So be realistic with yourself. Be realistic with the skills that you have. And then number three, and one of the most important ones for me, is to actually set a deadline. I didn't do that in the beginning, and what was happening is I was making a game, and I was telling myself, okay, I'm gonna finish it next month, and a month went by, and I actually started to add another month, and then I started to add another month. And that is okay if if it's your first game, but I want you to make sure that you set a deadline. And the reason for that is because if you set a deadline, you're basically agreeing with yourself that you're gonna follow through and finishing something that you started with. I think that the best thing that happens with the things that I've done is that I can go back and I can look through and I say, okay, wow, I actually finished that game. That game that was a dream that was in my mind, I was actually able to finish it. And that's what I want you to get to a point where, anything that you start, you actually finish. And it's really, really important to set a deadline. Make sure, grab a calendar, put it on your phone, and put a reminder, and follow through. Do that every day. Look at it. Look at your goals. Look at your weekly goals, and follow through, because that's what's gonna make you, get to that bigger game that you want to create. That game that you dream about. Work towards that goal, but don't start with that goal from the very beginning, because a lot of times what happens with a lot of indies, and I talk about myself too, because I actually tried to release games that were way more complicated at the very beginning without having the experience that I needed. So don't do that. Try to focus on making a smaller game, making simple games, and be realistic with yourself. So thank you very much, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about these topics, which is finishing your game, let me know through the comments, because I'm always happy to to talk about it. I'm super passionate about, you know, the logistics that go about finishing a game or finishing a project. And if you have, you know, if you have any other questions related to a different topic, let me know as well. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.